There are certain sounds that appear to transcend time. Melodies so bright, they seem to have been composed by the universe itself. And then there's Mozart. His music flows seamlessly between happiness and sadness, between the divine and the earthly. Welcome to Legends of Sound Music Masters. Today, we explore the brilliant genius of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was born on January 27, 1756, in Salzburg, Austria, a small Baroque city nestled between the Alps. His father, Leopold Mozart, deputy Kapellmeister to the Archbishop of Salzburg, was a respected composer, violinist, and teacher. His mother, Anna Maria Pertl, provided warmth and stability, and his sister, Maria Anna, known as Nannerl, was already showing remarkable musical talent. At age 3, Wolfgang began imitating Nannerl's piano lessons. By age 5, he was composing simple pieces, which Leopold proudly wrote down, short minuets and andantes, later catalogued as K1A to K3. It was clear, this child wasn't just gifted, he was extraordinary. Leopold decided to share that miracle with the world. In 1762, the 6-year-old prodigy performed for Emperor Francis I and Empress Maria Theresa in Vienna, astonishing the court by playing blindfolded and improvising for hours. Soon after, the Mozarts embarked on a grand tour that would last more than 3 years. From 1763 to 1766, they traveled through Germany, Belgium, France, England, and the Netherlands, thousands of kilometers by carriage. In 1764, at age 8, while staying in London, Mozart composed his Symphony No. 1 in E flat major. He befriended Johann Christian Bach, the youngest son of Johann Sebastian Bach, whose graceful melodic style deeply influenced the young composer. In Versailles, he played before King Louis XV. In Paris, he performed for the aristocracy and absorbed the elegance of French taste. Between 1769 and 1773, Mozart, now in his early teens, made 3 journeys to Italy. He studied composition with Padre Giovanni Martini in Bologna, received membership in the Accademia Filarmonica, and at age 14 premiered his first opera, Mithridate, Re di Ponto, in Milan to great acclaim. During these tours, he also wrote Exultate, Jubilate, K165, and several symphonies and violin concertos. By 1773, at age 17, Mozart returned home to Salzburg, no longer a boy prodigy, but a seasoned European artist. Mozart was appointed concertmaster at the Salzburg court under the new Archbishop Hieronymus von Colloredo. For the next several years, he composed tirelessly. Symphonies, masses, divertimenti, and serenades for court occasions. Among these were Symphony No. 25 in G minor, dramatic and storm-tossed, hinting at his inner restlessness, and Violin Concerto No. 3 in G major, elegant and lyrical, showcasing the young composer's expressive grace. Though the position offered security, it also imposed restraint. Colloredo expected obedience and utility, not innovation. For Mozart, who had tasted the freedom of Europe's great cities, the confines of Salzburg felt unbearable. In 1777, at age 21, Mozart left Salzburg in search of independence. He traveled through Mannheim, Augsburg, and Paris with his mother, hoping to secure employment. In Mannheim, he met the talented Weber family and fell in love with Aloysia Weber. He also heard the famed Mannheim Orchestra, whose dynamic crescendos and expressive phrasing profoundly shaped his orchestral writing. Arriving back in Paris in 1778, Mozart may have been reminded of the French lullaby, Ah, vous dirai-je, maman, that he would have heard during his childhood tour of Paris in 1764. Because just a few years later, around 1781 to 82, he composed the playful 12 variations inspired by that very tune, which we now know as Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But tragedy struck that summer when his mother died suddenly. Heartbroken and with no stable income, Mozart returned to Salzburg in 1779, where Colloredo rehired him as court organist. He was 23, grieving, wiser, and more determined than ever to control his destiny. In early 1781, Colloredo summoned Mozart to Vienna for a state visit. Tensions flared immediately. The Archbishop's arrogance and Mozart's pride collided in a final confrontation. When Colloredo's steward dismissed him with a kick, Mozart refused to submit. At age 25, he resigned, or, as he put it, was released from slavery. This moment changed everything. He walked away from security and status, choosing instead to be a freelance composer, a radical act in 18th century Europe. From that day forward, Vienna would be his home, his battleground, and his legacy. Settling in Vienna in 1781, Mozart rented a modest apartment and began giving subscription concerts over the next 6 years, performing his own piano concertos for eager audiences. One of the most radiant among them was the Piano Concerto No. 17 in G major, written in 1784 for his student Barbara Ployer, a work full of wit, lyricism, and luminous joy. In 1782, he married Constanze Weber, Aloysia's younger sister, defying his father's wishes. That same year, he premiered The Abduction from the Seraglio, an opera that showcased both his humor and his empathy for the human condition. As the years passed, Vienna embraced him. By 1787, he composed Eine kleine Nachtmusik, cheerful, elegant, and brimming with life. These were years of joy and mastery, independence found, love secured, and creativity flowing in full bloom. Between 1786 and 1788, Mozart reached the height of his creative power. His operas, The Marriage of Figaro and Don Giovanni, gave ordinary people heroic voices, mixing laughter and truth in ways Europe had never heard. From Don Giovanni came one of his most noble arias, Il mio tesoro intanto, a moment of pure sincerity amid the drama, a melody of faith, compassion, and forgiveness. Its graceful lines seem to lift above the chaos of the world, a brief vision of peace and loyalty before the storm. As his operas triumphed, his inner world deepened. In 1788, he composed Symphony No. 40 in G minor, a work of passion and turmoil, restless yet exquisitely human. These masterpieces revealed a new kind of emotional honesty, music that could smile through tears, capturing both laughter and pain in the same breath. Behind the genius was a man racing against time. By the late 1780s, Mozart's finances worsened. Patronage declined, tastes shifted, and war in Europe strained Vienna's economy. He borrowed from friends, wrote letters pleading for advances, yet continued to compose masterpieces at lightning speed. He and Constanze faced illness and loss. Only 2 of their 6 children survived infancy, but their relationship was affectionate and resilient. Friends describe Mozart as endlessly cheerful, quick to joke, and brimming with energy even when exhausted. In these years of struggle, Mozart found solace in simplicity. His piano concerto No. 27, gentle, luminous, and filled with grace, became a quiet farewell to the stage. It was premiered at a benefit concert for clarinetist Joseph Baer, and though Vienna had grown tired of Mozart, the press wrote that everyone admired his art, in composition as well as in performance. That final public appearance ended in admiration and quiet melancholy, the curtain closing gently on a life devoted to sound. Mozart's music was a bridge between worlds, Baroque structure and classical clarity, intellect and emotion. From Johann Sebastian Bach, he absorbed the art of counterpoint, the weaving of independent voices into a single tapestry. From Johann Christian Bach, he learned grace, melody, and conversation, the elegant dialogue that became his hallmark. He saw music as living speech. Every instrument had a voice, every dissonance a feeling seeking resolution. Through the clarinet concerto in A major, he gave the instrument its soul, able to whisper tenderness or ache with longing. Through such late works, Mozart showed that music could express not just grandeur, but compassion, the sound of humanity itself. The year 1791 was both triumphant and tragic. Mozart premiered the Magic Flute, a work filled with symbolism and light, music that celebrated the triumph of wisdom, love, and enlightenment. Within it lies one of his most tender creations, the aria, Ach, ich fühl's, where Pamina, heartbroken and believing herself unloved, sings of fading joy and the approach of death. Each phrase seems to dissolve like a sigh, a farewell wrapped in beauty. That same year, Mozart completed one of his most serene sacred works, the luminous Ave Verum Corpus. Then came the mysterious commission for a Requiem Mass. The messenger refused to name his patron, and Mozart, frail and feverish, became convinced he was writing his own funeral music. He labored over it until he could no longer hold a pen. On December 5th, 1791, at age 35, he died in his Vienna home, leaving the Requiem unfinished. His student, Franz Xaver Süssmayr, completed it from Mozart's sketches, guided by the fragments and spirit his teacher left behind. His burial was simple, a shared grave in St. Mark's Cemetery. but his voice was already immortal. Today, Mozart's music still breathes in concert halls, films, and hearts around the world. He wrote over 600 works in 35 years, everyone shaped by the places he saw, the people he loved, and the struggles he endured. From the counterpoint of Bach to the laughter of Figaro, from childhood minuets to the Requiem, Mozart's journey was a testament to how art transcends circumstance. He reminds us that musical genius is not born from privilege, but from passion, from the unstoppable desire to turn life itself into sound. This has been Legends of Sound, Music Masters. Join us next Friday as we explore Ludwig van Beethoven, the man who turned sound into revolution.